Right now, we will broadcast for you the news in English on Radio Free Syria.
Welcome to the News Hour in English. I am MarwanKADRO from Radio Free Syria and we will start with the headlines. More than 300 people have been killed yesterday in Syria, among them more than 20 children and more than 20 women. 227 have been killed in the massacre of gared.althwra and Homs. The Revolution Committee said also that the Assad forces have shelled more than 400 locations in Syria yesterday. They have also used during the shelling of these locations phosphorus bombs. There were battles between the FSA and the Assad forces in more than 112 different locations in Syria. The FSA have shelled Mazza military airport with homemade mortars. In Daraya, heavy battles were between the FSA and the Assad forces as the last one tries to enter the city. We will start with Idlib. The fighting continued for the fourth day in a row on the fronts and at the Valley of Al-Dayf and Camp Al-Hamidiyah. Activists said the Eastern Front was marked by clashes that were described as the worst of its kind so far. The rebels have managed to destroy a number of locations that were under control of the Assad forces, while on the Western Front, near Camp Hamidiyah, the rebels have blockaded all military points that surrounding the camp with an attempt to break into some of these points. The Assad forces have shelled several villages in Idlib's countryside using rocket launchers and mortars and heavy artillery. To Damascus, the neighborhoods of Al-Asali and Jobar have been shelled as clashes resumed in the 30th Street in Jobar. Reporters said that tanks have shelled several areas in the neighborhood, which resulted in destroying many house buildings. This increased the number of marches in the city of Douma in rural Damascus to 9 marches, including 4 children impact targeting airstrike forces civilians, came after the massacre committed by the regime forces in the town of Al-Nakhba in rural Damascus. There, 16 people have been killed, including 5 children. Heavy shelling with warplanes led to massive destruction in the town. Renewed shelling on Zabadani and Daraya as heavy battles continued between the FSA and the Assad forces in Harasta and Sayyida Zainab. Activists said that heavy battles continued in Damascus International Airport as the Free Syrian Army tried to take control of the airport. The Free Syrian Army has destroyed several tanks of the Assad forces in Daraya and killed dozens of its gang members. The Assad forces have shelled the village of Beit Saham by using mortars, tanks, and warplanes, which resulted in the destruction of a large part of its infrastructure. Moving to Homs, the number of the people that have been killed in the neighborhood of Deir Balba has increased to 227 martyrs as the Assad forces committed a massacre there. 20 of them have been executed after being held at the university. They were allowed to pass the barrier, however, they were stopped and executed immediately at the university. In Homs countryside, renewed shelling on Croix de Chevalier and the Turkmeni neighborhoods in the countryside of Homs. Moving to Daraa, several brigades of the Free Syrian Army have shelled several border points between Syria and Jordan. The fights ended near the 37th border point. These battles resulted in destroying the building of the 37th border point. The clashes continued for more than 7 hours. Heavy battles were also in Busra al-Harir, which resulted in the death of the head officer of the intelligence services in Busra al-Harir. Heavy shelling were from the 157th Brigade on the village of Nahda. In Aleppo, most of Aleppo's neighborhoods have been under heavy shelling today. The Assad forces used tanks and rocket launchers and warplanes. This attack was on the northern neighborhoods of the city of Aleppo. All Aleppo have been also under attack by using mortars that came from the citadel of Aleppo. Heavy shelling was also on al-Sufayra and Mara in Aleppo's countryside, as several explosions have been heard in the city itself. This was it for today. Thank you very much for listening. Marwan Kadro was with you along with Mais Noured as executive manager. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.
Right now, we will broadcast for you the news in English on Radio Free Syria.